But in this case, the stuff is funnel cake icing. Like, I guess it feels good, but still, it's weird. Maybe. I'm also a pumpkin latte sexual. I will be honest, I'm here for the fork sex. So the other day, I was going on Instagram and I saw a post that said some unhinged books that are on Kindle Unlimited. And I was immediately intrigued because I know there's some crazy stuff out there, but I was really not prepared for that post. Some of the book suggestions, recommendations, things that people submitted in that post included books about being seduced by a pumpkin spice latte, about being seduced by a fork, by a pillowcase, by a door, by a turkey. Like, there was some wild stuff out there. There was one called Bagged by My Groceries, and I was like, I shouldn't be reading these, but also we're gonna be reading them in this video. So if you want to hear spoilers about unhinged books that you will probably never read, this is the place to be, because I will be reading all of them in this video, or as many as I could find on Kindle Unlimited, because there's no way I'm gonna be paying for any of these books. But yeah, there was one that I really wanted called Triceratops and Bottoms, which is about this like woman who goes back in time and gets with a dinosaur, but I couldn't find that on Kindle Unlimited, unfortunately. But I found several others on Kindle Unlimited, so I'll be reading all of these books this week. Thank God most of these books are only like around 100 pages. Some are even less, some are only 20 pages, because I definitely would not be doing this if each book was like 300 pages. There's also a balloon animal romance, shifter romance that I want to read in this video, and then maybe even a story about this man who gets seduced with a dolphin that me and my friends found in a group chat a really long time ago. So yeah, there's some very unhinged books. We'll see how many we can get through, and I will be telling you all of my basically live reactions as I'm reading these super unhinged books. Anyways, on to the first book. So the first book that I'm reading is Squeak by, I don't remember who the author is, but I'll put the cover and everything on screen. So if you want to read this book for some reason, you can go definitely do that. But this one, I'm like 16 pages in, which is already like 28% of the book, because I think this book is only like 50 pages. But this one is about this girl, and she's like in a zoo, or at least so far she's in a zoo, she's drawing, and then this guy comes up to her and he's like trying to befriend him, and then we got his point of view with this other guy. So the guy who like approached her was Sebastian, and then we have Keen, who is like basically Sebastian's like lover. But then we come to find out that Sebastian and Keen were actually created from this woman who's like really mean and cruel, and like she created them, and they were basically created as balloon animals. By the way, this is a balloon animal shifter romance, if that was not very clear. But yeah, so literally Sebastian's job is to pull around a cart of his balloon animals like at the zoo. Anyways, yeah, so like they're basically created, which that process was not explained at all. Like somehow they were created, and Sebastian talks about how the very first feeling he had was when like you know when you twist stuff to make balloon animals, like that twisting feeling. And then Keen shortly came after, and they kind of became like friends, and then kind of turned into lovers, because the woman, I'm completely forgetting her name, she like uses them sexually, and she kind of made it so that only a woman can arouse them. But they found each other, so then they like started doing stuff together. And now we're at the scene where Sebastian is giving Keen a blowjob, but he opens his pants and he smells powdered sugar, and he's like smelling like funnel cake stuff, because apparently they were a part of a circus before, which I don't get that at all. Yeah, I don't really understand what's happening. I don't get like if his dick is a balloon, like is it a balloon? Is that what he's giving a blowjob to? Like, I really do not understand. Also, it's weird because the woman who's like abusing them sexually, when she would want them, they would magically grow dicks, and then after that it would just go away. They'd kind of be like Barbie dolls where they had nothing there, it was all smooth. So I'm very confused as to what the anatomy is, and I don't know, like I don't know, it's really weird because he's talking about how it says my tongue swept up the tempting bud of his balloon tie knot, and I'm like, what does that mean? Like, is it like a long balloon with a tie knot at the end? Like, I'm so confused. I'm so confused. Like, nothing of this makes sense, and I am truly frightened for when the girl gets with Sebastian and Keen, because I'm sure those scenes are gonna be crazy, but it's already crazy so far. Like, when he opened up his pants and he smelled powdered sugar, I was already like, I'm done, cut the cameras. Okay, a couple pages later, but I think their dick or his dick is a balloon. It's a balloon, and it is like a knot at the end, and the way that they like come basically is that the knot like snaps and then stuff comes out. But in this case, the stuff is funnel cake icing, which I guess like is sweet, and I guess it would taste good for the giver, but literally icing, like funnel cake icing. Okay, so Sebastian, who is so Poppy's the name of the girl. Sebastian is the guy that she saw at the zoo first, and Keen is his like kind of lover person who's kind of a little bit jealous because Sebastian and him are kind of like lovers, and he thinks that Poppy's trying to steal Sebastian from him. And because of this whole like thing where that woman was abusing them, I like keep forgetting her name. The only way that they can get out of this is that they have these thing called sigils, and they need someone to draw them. And since Poppy's in like an artist, they asked her, but then since Keen is jealous, he decides to go to the art school, and he tries to like find another artist to do it because he's jealous. But then he accidentally gets mistaken for a model, so he basically has to model for these people, like he has to be naked. And of course Poppy's in that class, so after the class ends they end up like getting it on, but it's like really weird because he has his dick that's basically a balloon, and they're in the dark, and she's like, oh my god, this is really smooth, like why does this feel weird? And then she doesn't know yet, and then he turns on the lights, and she just sees that he has a dick that's a balloon. I literally can't say this talking about this book. She literally stares down and she's like, it looks like it's purple and translucent, and she just like screams. And I thought that was just so funny because imagine just you're with someone for the first time and you look down and it's just like a balloon. Truly a book. But anyways, Keen and her go back to Sebastian, and then turns out that this whole like nodding thing happened. Sebastian or Keen and Poppy are now like mates, and she's like the Omega or something. I still don't understand Omega-verse terms, but she's like the Omega. And turns out that bond like helps save them from that woman who was abusing them. So Sebastian tests out their bond, and turns out that Sebastian's just gonna join them, and so they're all like kind of bonded together. And that's where like the threesome like kind of comes from, I guess. I'm literally on the last 2 pages, and they're like kind of dealing with the aftermath of the bond, because after a bond happens, like the two mates are like super basically in heat, I guess, where they're super like horny for all the time for each other, and they're have like this urge to basically do it all the time. That's where I'm at right now. So I'm gonna read the last 2 pages and wrap up my final thoughts, I guess. Okay, so I have finished the book. Basically, the woman comes back. Her name is Zena, by the way, and she like comes to get Sebastian and Keen, but at that point their bond is just too strong. And at one point they're basically, one balloon is up her chi-chi and the other one is up her like asshole, and it's a really interesting way to do things. Anyways, yeah, so apparently Xena like floats away, because apparently if you put helium in a human, like they float away, and since they're balloon, I don't know, it was really weird. And yeah, they're considering this their happily ever after, because they're like safe, they're each in their beautiful bond with each other, they're in a throuple, and I guess they love each other. Truly an experience. Am I giving this 1 star? Yes, I am, because I like truly in my mind cannot give it anything more than that. I truly can't. 50 pages I wish I never read. I mean, it was a fun experience. I don't know. Definitely not a good book. Would I recommend it? No. But if you're bored and want like a silly little entertaining thing, sure. But I basically just told the whole plot of the story. It's not even like, nothing really happens, actually. It's literally only 54 pages. Anyways, that is the first book for this video. Tomorrow, I will be starting another unhinged book. Will it be about a woman getting seduced by a latte, by a fork, by a pillow? Who knows? A whole new day of adventures awaits us tomorrow. Welcome to my dining table. I have decided to go the pumpkin spice latte route. So we'll be reading about this girl who gets seduced by a pumpkin spice latte. The book is literally called Seduced by a Pumpkin Spice Latte, but it seems like the book is like really short. So I'm trying to like just finish it really quickly right now. I don't know how long it is, but it says like only 3 minutes left in book, which I feel like that's not true. Anyway, so I'm on page 1 and immediately, even before I get into the book, I'm like, is she like sticking up pumpkin spice latte up her hoo-ha? Is she like just feeling things when she's drinking it? Is she shoving the whole cup up there? I'm not really sure what the anatomy of this is gonna look like. And also like she just woke up and then she wakes up early and she's like doesn't know why, but then she realized it's like the first day of pumpkin spice latte season at Starbucks and she is like really happy about that. But then she says like she feels the craving moving from her mouth down to the rest of her, and I'm like, does she already have an established pumpkin spice latte thing? I guess I don't know, like where is she feeling it down the rest of her? I don't know what's gonna happen, but it does say that she really likes Taylor Swift, so I'm already giving her points for that. But I guess we will see how this book ends up turning out. Okay, I think she definitely does have a thing for lattes, because she literally wakes up and immediately it's talking about how she's enjoying like her naked form and how the anticipation of the latte is like almost as if she's an attractive person. So like definitely she's already a very weird person when it comes to lattes. She's picking out a cute outfit just for the latte. Like not even to go like to Starbucks, it's for the latte. Okay, even the barista is into lattes because Melissa orders one and she's like, I'm pretty excited too. I think they're the sexiest drink we sell. So somehow in this world, like people have a thing for lattes, which I mean, you do you, but I mean, I'm sure it exists in the world, but I don't know why so many people are into these lattes. By the way, I've never had a pumpkin spice latte in my life, so I actually don't get what the hype is about. Maybe like just for this video, I'll go out and try one in honor of like this book. Okay, so she drinks the pumpkin spice latte and obviously she feels like all this desire and she feels like a throb in her body. And she's like surprised that she's into this latte sexually. Like she's asking herself like, am I into this sexually? Which I'm like so confused because I thought like the way she was already reacting towards lattes and acting towards them was already sexual, I feel like. So like I don't know why she's so surprised that she's into them. I don't think she's gonna shove it up anywhere. I think just the fact like drinking it arouses her, and so like I guess that's enough. Hopefully is the very strong word here, because if she shoves anything up her chi-chi, I don't know what I'll be doing. Okay, never mind. I think things are going somewhere because she is like slowly taking the cup and kind of caressing her own body with it, and she's like she's like down in that region now, and I'm like, I'm scared. I'm scared. I'm scared. Okay, so she doesn't shove anything up. She uses her like her own fingers, but she does use the latte to like arouse her, so she like caresses all over her body, uses the warmth to like warm her bits, I guess. And then she finishes and the 2 employees come in, and then she's like scared that they're gonna judge her, obviously, because she's having sex with a pumpkin spice latte. And they're like, no, we understand. So I guess this is about to become like whole threesome situation. They just finished like having sex, and then they're just like, oh, you're pumpkin spice sexual. It's like very rare, not many people have it, but we do, and we knew it was like you had it too when you came to order one. And then she says like, I guess I'm a pumpkin spice sexual, and then she just shrugged, and I'm like, how are you just accepting this? I'm just so confused. Like, I guess it feels good, but still, it's weird. Okay, I just finished this book. So definitely very, very short. I think I liked Squeak more than this. I think Squeak had at least a little bit of world building plot going for it, I guess. I don't know. Squeak was also a little bit more fleshed out. And this one is like probably not even 20 pages. So it's just overall a very quick, like short story. It's not good. I'm giving it a 1 star. I'm just very confused as to like how everyone's just normalizing this. But yeah, I think I'm gonna have to try one of those pumpkin spice lattes, because the way she was reacting to it, maybe I'm like missing out. Maybe it's just that good. Maybe I just need to try it. And maybe I'm also a pumpkin latte sexual. So I got a pumpkin spice latte. Hopefully the lighting's better, but I have to see what the hype is all about, because if she's that like up in arms about a pumpkin spice latte, I feel like I have to try it. And it is pretty hot here today, but I got the hot version just to stay authentic to how a pumpkin spice latte I feel like is supposed to be drank. But without further ado, let's see if this is truly worthy of what was talked about in that book. It smells like a pumpkin pie. I feel like it doesn't even taste anything like anything. It just tastes kind of like a latte with a slight pumpkin flavoring. Like, it's not even that strong, and it's definitely not worth the hype. Like, sure, it has a good like hint of pumpkin, but it's not like enough to, for lack of a better word, be wet by the taste of it. I have decided to check out the Fork route next. So I started reading Forked by Ruth Cardello. This one is a little bit on the longer side. It is about 150 pages, which for me is bad, because do I really want to be spending like 2 hours of my time reading this book? No, I don't, but I will be doing it for this. This one, it definitely has more plot, and it's almost like making me bored because of that, because I'm not here for a plot. I'm not here for an actual story, and I'm just here for like the unhinged utensil sex. This one is about a girl named Mercedes, and she is basically like this really shy girl. She wants to be more outgoing. She's never had sex. She's a virgin, and she kind of wants to put herself out there, but she doesn't know how. And then she sees her upstairs neighbor, I think, or some neighbor in her apartment building, and she, like, it starts off as she's trying to kind of flirt with him, and then she goes back home and she starts eating from using this fork, and she realizes that she really likes this fork. It's like her favorite fork. Like, she always really likes using it. She likes how it feels in her mouth, how it feels when she holds it. So she just has not a sexual thing, but just a thing for like just in general, she has a preference for this fork in eating. And then randomly the fork like starts moving and goes to the ground, and then suddenly there's a man in her house who is a soldier from World War II, so from like the 1940s, and she still doesn't know that he's the fork, but suddenly there's this man, and so they start like kind of talking to each other and just conversing about what he's doing there, like what he's trying to do, what happened. And then we also go through flashbacks of him and his life back in the 1940s as a soldier. Apparently he was part of this like super secret super soldier program where they like injected them with stuff to make them stronger. I don't know, it's kind of weird. And he has this whole troop of other people with him. He's trying to find where they are, and I don't know, those parts got really boring to me, but just because like that wasn't part of like the romance that I signed up for, and it just felt like normal, like a normal book, and I was kind of bored by it because again, war stuff is usually very boring to me. Like I don't gravitate towards that in books or movies or TV shows or anything, so those parts just aren't making me that interested, which is making this book kind of boring. I'm just here for the fork, and I don't know if the man is going to turn back into a fork, because there is a warning in the beginning of the book about how not to recreate some of the scenes in this book, and I feel like that was hinting that there were going to be forks involved, and I'm just here for that. I'm literally just here for that. I don't care. Like, I will be honest, I'm here for the fork sex, and that is not happening right now. So yeah, I don't know. They're like starting to like each other more. They instantly had like an attraction towards each other, and they're just trying to figure out what happened to his troops, what he came from, how he got suddenly turned into a fork, and all of that stuff. So hopefully I only have like 60-70 pages left, I think, so I definitely will be trying to finish this today, because I don't think I can handle another day of this, and I want to get to like another book that I actually want to read. Yeah, but if there's not fork sex soon, I will be writing. Sorry for the keyboard being right up in your face, but I've officially finished Forked by Ruth Cardello, and thankfully the parts like that were flashbacks kind of stopped, so I didn't have to get the boring World War II like army war type stuff, and it focused on the present tense. And honestly, it was not as wild as I thought this book would go. Like the most extreme we got was using like the other handle of a fork, which is like the solid rectangle side and not like the tines themselves. And I thought it would go there, but especially because there was a warning to not recreate the scenes that are in this book, and I don't know, I feel like it wasn't that dangerous. And it was really weird because this man, apparently his entire army unit is trapped in all these utensils that are in this really old set of silverware that she got from like a thrift or a garage sale or something, like the main character Mercedes. And basically he can kind of turn into a fork like whenever he wants, which is really weird. And the way that she has to bring him back is by being intimate with him and wanting him, like yearning for him basically, which is really weird. So basically whenever he wants, he can just flip into fork mode, and she has to bring him back by like basically doing stuff with him. I don't know, it's just really weird. I did not like that. That's a little bit too weird for me. Other than that, I feel like this book was pretty tame. It was a pretty standard like romance book. Like the fork stuff wasn't even that wild. I really wanted it to go like crazy levels that it didn't end up happening. Anyways, probably like 1.5 stars, that extra half star, just because this book did have a little bit more plot than the other ones, and it was a little bit more fleshed out, I guess. Another reason, because the reason this author made this book is because she was going through like a hard time in her life, and she wanted like kind of a book or story to laugh at. So I appreciate that. Another thing is this book wasn't wild, but the next book definitely a lot crazier and weirder. I wasn't gonna start another book because I was gonna be like, I'm done with these books, I can't read them anymore, but then I was too curious, so I started Bagged by the Groceries. I do not know who the author is, and this one is pretty short. I think it's just about 50 pages. And this one definitely crazier. Basically, this woman is at a grocery store and she meets this like homeless woman. The homeless woman like wants her to give her food, I guess, and she kind of just goes home. And then I don't know what the point of that interaction was, but she says something weird about how like she's gonna get the grocery. Okay, I don't know, it was really weird. And then she goes home, she sees like randomly all her groceries disappear, and then suddenly this like man comes into her house, but it's not a man, it's like all of her groceries that disappeared. Literally all her groceries that disappeared turned into like a human, like basically a human body, but just made up of all her different like groceries items that she got. So like his legs were like the loaves of bread that she got, and then his head was like a cabbage, and then his dick was a cucumber obviously, and his balls were like 2 nectarines, and just basically his entire body just composed of all these things. And I don't know what's gonna happen. So far I don't know if I actually want to continue this, just because like I'm not in the mood to keep reading these wild books. I kind of just want to get to like a normal book that I actually want to read, but at this point I might be too like intrigued to read it. I mean, we all know that this grocery man is gonna like do some stuff with her, but I don't understand, because first of all, he came in with like a gun, I think, and I don't know, I'm just very confused. I will definitely let you know if I keep reading this book, but these books are crazy. Like, these authors be having crazy imaginations, and I could never. I mean, I have to give them applause in some points for having such an overactive imagination, because I could never think of something like that. Several hours later, and I've decided to finish Backed by the Groceries. This one basically threw like consent totally out the window, because I said like this random grocery man enters in, and he's like apparently a god, like some fertility god from some culture, some land. I don't exactly know what that is, but basically like they immediately just start fucking, I guess. Like he literally comes in and he's like, I'm gonna plant my seed in you, and basically that's it. They're starting to do stuff, and it's kind of disgusting, because it's like it'll describe like how his fingers or carrots are like going inside her, and then he comes and his cum is basically just like yogurt that she bought. So like, am I gonna be thinking about that every time I eat yogurt now? Probably. But I am 60% of the way through, so I am like, what else can really go on? Because we already started having like doing the sex part pretty much instantly, and now I'm not sure about what the rest of the book is gonna be. Okay, actually, apparently he was making her ready for babies, I guess, because they finished everything, and he's like, okay, now you're ready to be fertile, like the next man who comes will basically impregnate you. And then he just kind of just falls apart. So basically this man becomes all her groceries again, like they're all individual pieces now. I am so confused as to where this book can now go. So basically the story's ended. There was no 40% left. It's just another like random short story that the author added into this like ebook, I guess. And basically it ends because she's married, and he basically, like, her husband comes home and he sees like he's suddenly very attracted to her, and he's like, you look extra beautiful today or something. And then they just have sex, and it basically means that they're gonna have their first child, because this grocery fertility god man decided to prepare her for that. Yeah, this is getting a 1 star. I don't know, it wasn't even like a fun time. Like, I think after like reading all these books back to back, which I feel like there's only actually been 3 or 4, maybe 3, like I feel like it's just all kind of the same. Like now it's just all sex but with different objects, and there's only so much like wildness that can happen. So I think I'm just all like sexed out, especially with weird like wild things. So I will be promptly returning this book to Kindle Unlimited, because I do not want it in my library. Am I done with this video? I don't know, because I feel like there's other books I want to read, but they're just like long. I know one of them is like pretty long. It's around 500 pages, which my friend recommended to me, and she said that it doesn't feel that long, but after reading like all these books, I don't know if I can put myself through that. I think I'm gonna be ending this video here. I just don't have the capacity to read stupid books anymore. At least I can do another like part 2 to this and include that other books in there, because I know there's gonna be more out there that are weird. I think I'm gonna end it off here. So that is it for all the books that I have read. Let me know down below if you have read any of these. I doubt you have. And I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you next time. Bye.